Hi, my name is DeyshawlahTV. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching us how to draft a shirt collar, something like what I'm wearing. I need you to keep in mind that the measurements I used are not fixed measurements. You can adjust the measurements, you can adjust the pattern, but if you follow my guide, I'm sure that you'll be good at drafting shirt collars in no time. Let's get started.
Okay guys, the first thing you would like to do is to get the length of your neckline. So I'm going to be using my tape rule to measure from one edge to the other edge of my neckline. So you just do as I'm doing now. So in my case it was 18.6, almost 19 but not quite 19 inches yet. So I'm going to need half of that, which is 9.3. Now for the record, the pattern is going to be drafted on this interfacing. So I'm measuring 9.3 on the interfacing. The interfacing is folded in two. It's folded in two. So now I'm going to draw a line across like 1/4 of an inch above the edge of that interfacing because I want the line to be straight. So I'm using my ruler to draw that line across from left to right. So after that, I'm going to be measuring 1.5 inches from that line upwards. So that is for my collar stand. You could use 1 inch, but I wanted to use 1.5 inches for the sake of this tutorial. So 1.5 inches across, and at the extreme edge I measured 1/2 an inch. So with my hip curve I'm connecting that 1/2 an inch to the straight line I had drawn initially. Then I'm going to take the ruler again and then connect the dots of that 1.5 inches, then go up 1/2 an inch again and use my hip curve to connect the line. So now I'm going to be using my armhole curve. You could use your free hand to do this, just to draw a curved line. So that's all there is for the collar stand. But precision is very important. So from the folded edge, I'm going to measure again my 9.3 inches. You can see that it's a bit longer. So now I'm going to, let me use a ruler this time around to draw a straight line. And with my hand, I'm going to curve it. Yeah, so using my marker to retrace for you to see it clearly. So now that is it for my collar stand. It's as easy as that. Okay, so I'm going 1/2 an inch again above that line, 1/2 an inch again above that line. Okay, then I'm going to connect the lines. Yeah. So now with the same hip curve, flipped downwards this time around. Okay, before doing that, let me measure 1 inch inward and draw a perpendicular line that's 90 degrees to meet the top of the collar stand. Then with my hip curve flipped downwards, I'm going to connect that point to the 1/2 an inch upwards. So when I draft my collar, the main collar, that is where I want it to reach on the collar stand. So I'm going up by 2 inches, and an extra 1 inch there, drawing a straight line. So with my ruler, I'll draw a perpendicular line where my straight line stopped, and then I'm going to use my tape rule to measure 1.5 inches outwards. I marked that dot, and I'm going to connect that dot to the beginning of the line down there. Then I'll use my hip curve to connect the line, the 2 inches I marked at the folded part, to this perpendicular line. So now we're going to be trimming it out or cutting it out. So I'm cutting on the line. This is the collar stand now. Always remember to pin when you fold your pattern into two. Remember to pin so that it doesn't shift while cutting. It helps a lot. So now I'm cutting the collar itself. Yeah. Okay, so I'm removing my pins now. So that's the collar stand, and that's the collar. So I'm just measuring to be double sure that it's 18.6 inches. And yeah, it was 18.6 inches. So now this is my Ankara fabric. I'm going to be placing the interfacing on the Ankara fabric and ironing with a steam iron. This interfacing has a sticky side. It's hard to differentiate for newbies, but the sticky side is shiny, and that's the shiny part that you should place face down on the fabric. That shiny substance is actually glue, and it's activated when heat is applied. So we're going to be using a steam iron now to iron the interfacing on the fabric, which in turn will glue the interfacing to the fabric. It's also worthy of note that the Ankara is folded right sides facing each other, and the interfacing is being fused to the wrong side of the Ankara fabric. So now I'm pinning the fabrics together, and then I'm cutting with sewing allowance of about 1/4 of an inch. That's a rough estimate because I didn't measure it. I'm just using a free hand and gauging with my eyes. Okay, so that's that. So you always pin together before cutting. It helps you keep your fabric in place. Yeah, so I'm going to place 2 Ankara fabrics right side facing each other, and the wrong side is on top. The collar is going to be placed on the wrong side, pinned together, and then I'm going to iron to fuse the interfacing or the collar on the Ankara fabric. So now that we are done with that, I'm going to be cutting around the pattern as well, leaving 1/4 of an inch sewing allowance, and that's all there is to drafting and cutting your collar pattern. So after cutting now, we'll head over to the sewing machine so I show you guys how to attach it, because that's equally important. So now we're going to sew around the collar directly by the edge of the interfacing. So now I'm going to be snipping around the edge of the collar. Be careful not to cut on the thread, and then I remove the pins and turn inside out. So with the edge of the scissors, I'm going to push out the edge of my collar. You don't want it folded in, because the beauty of your collar is when that point is sharp. So I'm doing that on both sides. Next, we top stitch around the collar from one side to the other. After doing that, we fold the collar into 2 and make a notch at the midpoint. Then we do the same thing for the collar stand. Remove the pin in the middle, fold it into 2, and then we make a notch as well. So now we open up the collar stand and match those notches. Then we replace the pins. Yeah, so after doing that, we also align, we remove the pins on both sides and then align the collar stand and the collar. So now the collar is in between the collar stands, right sides facing each other. So now we attach the 2 together by sewing. We fold one edge in as we begin to sew, and at the other side we do the same thing. So we make snips around it. Remember not to cut the thread, and then you turn it back out. So now the collar is finished basically. So before attaching, you fold in the allowance on the side with the interfacing and top stitch. Alternatively, you can go to the iron and iron it down. This is to get it out of the way when we are attaching it to the neck of the shirt. So now we pick the neckline of the shirt, locate the midpoint, and align the midpoint to the midpoint of your collar. So the midpoint of your collar is going to be fastened to the midpoint of the neckline of your shirt with a pin. So after pinning the center now, you align the other sides too. Okay, and we should also note that the side I'm pinning right now is the side without the interfacing, and it is also the side I did not top stitch. So now we're back again to the sewing machine, and with a steady hand you join the collar to the neckline. So finally, after doing that, you push in the edge of your neckline. You need to take your time in doing this because the neatness of your shirt collar depends on that. So you back stitch gently, and then while pushing in the neck, you top stitch. You push in the neckline, that's the raw edges, and then you top stitch, and that's all. So guys, I've tried to make this video as quick as possible for the ease of your watching, but if you're a newbie, this might be a lot to take in at once. So just take your time, watch my gestures closely, and I'm sure that you will be fine. If you have questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, and also you can reach me via the contact details in the description box below. So that's it guys. If this video has been helpful to you in any way, please remember to like and share the video with friends and loved ones that you feel will be interested in the same content. Also, please subscribe to my channel to be updated on more videos. Until I come your way next time, I remain DeyshawlahTV. Thank you and bye.